Hello, I'm Joe, and welcome to JKEV. You join us today as we're about to embark on another epic EV road trip in our Volkswagen ID4. It's another frigid December day here in Chicagoland, but we're about to head out to Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Got the Volkswagen, played some Tetris this morning, got it all packed up. Pretty much packed up to the gills. So now I got to run over to pick up Christina, which is about an 8-mile drive. And then our first charging stop will be Lafayette, Indiana. A little bit more about the vehicle we drive is the 2021 Volkswagen ID4 First Edition. So that's got the staggered tires and the 20-inch rims. It's a rear-wheel drive with an EPA range of 250 miles. Although in our range testing, we've gotten as low as 160 miles in freezing temperatures and as high as 220 miles in ideal temperatures. So I'm here waiting for Christina, so I figured let's test out some different ways we can navigate there. We already printed the trip out off of a betterrouteplanner.com, but let's go ahead and try this one. Hello, ID. Get directions to Disney World. This is usually the least effective way to get directions on your trip.
Search for points of interest in the vicinity. Only one search result was found. Okay, Disney World, 3111, World DR, Bay Lake. Drive safely.
Look at that. I think it's working. Let's see if it pops up on the maps. It's thinking about it. The biggest problem always with using the Volkswagen navigation system is it's very bad at trip planning as far as planning your charging stops. It's very common that it will put chargers in that are like mall chargers, level 2s, that'll take 8 hours to charge or something like that. Yeah, and here in this case, it looks like it's saying no route even possible. Yeah, see, it says we won't have enough battery to get there, obviously.
During your trip, in order to reach your destination, please map out the charging stops yourself, since they are not automatically included.
So just like our previous couple trips we've done, we're going to have to go ahead and put in each individual charging stop from our printout from a Better Route Planner and just go stop by stop, unfortunately. All right, so I went ahead and typed in the first charging stop. So let's see how far it is. Let's get the direct guidance there. It's 142 miles away. It says it'll take about 3 hours because of Chicago traffic. Car's estimating we have 185 miles of range. It's probably pretty accurate. I'd say we have a little less than that. We have a little headwind. Go ahead in here and get some more of the stats while I'm waiting. Come on. We are at 86%. I charged up to 94% earlier today, but I had some errands I had to run. So 86% should be plenty to get to our first stop. But once Christina gets here, we can hit the road, and before you know it, we'll be in Lafayette, Indiana. I'm here with Christina.
Hello.
Picked her up from work, and here sitting in 10-mile-an-hour Chicago traffic for the last hour so far, but hopefully we'll be in Indiana soon. Once we do, we should be able to get to that Lafayette charger before we know it. Looks like we shouldn't have as much of a range problem as we thought because of all this traffic has given us obviously a better range. It's only 132 miles to the charger. We still have 172 predicted. we are down to 78%. So as I noted when I did my range test a few weeks back, in the cold weather, the heating the cabin is a significant loss on the ID4 since it doesn't have a heat pump. So this trip will definitely be our first cold weather test of seeing whether or not we like road tripping an EV in the wintertime.
Experiments.
But you just got off work for the next week, so what are you going to do next?
I'm going to Disney World!
So we're out here in Lafayette, Indiana, just ramping up right now. Got here with 9%, a little bit lower than expected because there's a severe headwind, like about 10, 15 miles per hour, as well as we had some pretty good speeds going once we got off of the, out of the Chicago traffic. Looks like an e-tron's trying different chargers right now. They're having some charging issues. We're ramping up right now at only at 90 kilowatts. We expect to see a little more than that, so I'm gonna double check on PlugShare, see if I'm missing something. All right, so our next stop is only 71 miles away. I think we're gonna head across the street on our way out of town to grab a quick drive-through because there's nothing really around here and it's already almost 9 o'clock. Hoping down the road there'll be some better food to get, but at least for this one, we're just trying to get a quick one, get back on the road, and get a coffee real quick. But anyway, 54% is plenty. It's the rain's starting to pick up again, so we just want to hit the road and go. One thing I want to point out that kind of sucks is we've been at like 90 kilowatts or 85 kilowatts the whole time. I did a range test the other day when it was like 10 degrees out, and I only got 90 kilowatts that whole session as well. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that the rest of the trip to see if that was like a bad charging session or I'm not sure what, but we'll definitely keep an eye on it. But until then, let's hit the road and we're off to Indianapolis. Yeah, what she said. We're in Lebanon, Indiana. So we're about 35, so we're 35 miles away from our charger in Indy. It's on the south side of Indy. Rain is just relentless. It looks like, according to the forecast, it's going to be this way till like even Nashville, which is just crazy. So it's a solid headwind and persistent rain, which is causing us to need to charge way more than usual. Normally on our trips we've gotten around like 2.7 miles per kilowatt hour, but on this drive, on the last drive I should say, once we got out of Chicago traffic, we were hovering more down like 2.1, 2.2, so that adds up to quite a bit more charging at every stop. And it didn't help that the last stop we were only getting 90 kilowatts, so hopefully the battery just needs to warm up a little more, and just that first stretch, since we were in so much traffic and stuff, it didn't get a chance to properly heat up. I'm not sure. I encountered that same charging speed when I did the range test a couple weeks ago. So we'll see when we get to Indy if we have any better luck charging. Other than that, we got a coffee and a quick McBurger, which is less than ideal, but
Coffee.
It is what it is at this point. Hopefully we can get a better bite to eat down the road a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
We are here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Pretty cool install. Super windy, so apologize for that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 cabinets here. Or 4 cabinets, 8 units here. Pretty impressive. Everything's open, so can't complain there. We're just ramping up right now. Let's see what kind of speeds we're getting. Oh, that is good. That is good. Full 125 kilowatts right now. That's what we wanted to see. That was missing at the last stop. I'm glad that whatever it was seemed to fix us up, whether it was an issue with that charger or just the car still needed to heat up a little more. I also kind of like this new software on here that's really being more detailed on how many kilowatt hours are being delivered to the battery. I'm always a fan of more statistics, more data. And as you know, in our videos, we always post all the data we have. All right, we are charged up to 45% right now. I think we need to get to 65% because it's 102 miles to Clarksville, Indiana. That's our next stop. And just with this wind and stuff, I think we better play it safe. We have at least 65%. Usually like 50% should be enough to go 100 miles, but you know, we don't want to get stranded in the rain.
Yeah, we gotta play it safe.
We got places to be.
People to see.
Something like that.
Mickey's on the list.
Something like that. But should be another 10 minutes or so. We're still pulling over 100 kilowatts right now at 45%, so that's pretty great. So I think it'd be about 10 minutes or so, and we'll be out of here. And like I said, our next stop is Clarksville, Indiana.
So as I just mentioned, our efficiency continues to drop. It's down to 2.5 miles per kilowatt hour now. It was, you know, after we got out of Chicago, it was like 2.8, 2.9. So it's just steadily been dropping. We've gone 235 miles already. All right, so we are at 65%. Pretty comfortable with, we should be able to make it, no problem there. 66% actually just ticked over too. So our next stop will be 102 miles down the road to Clarksville, Indiana. right, we're here in Clarksville, Indiana, right at the border, basically with Louisville, Kentucky. Our next stop is the Corvette Museum. It's a really cool stop if it was daylight, but we're just trying to dance around these storms and get there. It's 115 miles away. We've had a really good charging session here so far. We're at 53% in, we arrived, by the way, at I think 5 or 6%. But yeah, we're at 55% in just about 20 minutes. So that's pretty good. We're trying to get to, I think, about 70 to 75%, somewhere in there, just because we know there's big rain coming up soon. And there's actually like tornado watches and everything out here. So we just want to make sure we have a little extra buffer before we venture on through Louisville out into the hills of Kentucky. Also, I know the elevation, I think it's a little bit of an elevation gain to get up to Bowling Green, Kentucky. So yeah, that's the status of the trip at this point.
Yep.
So far on that last leg of the trip, let's see, Yeah, so the last leg was 102 miles. We only got 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour, so pretty brutal. We average great speeds though, so I can't complain about that, but this wind is continually slowing us down quite a bit so far on this trip, just because we're getting so much worse efficiency. We're having to have longer charging stops than anticipated. The bright side though, it's in the mid 60s up here. That's reading's a little high because all the heat coming off the battery, but it sure is nice to get away from the cold in Chicago. All right, so in 30 minutes, we've gotten from 5% to 72%. So in just a couple more percent, I'm gonna shut it down and hit the road real quick. We're trying to stay on the front edge of the storm. There's a huge thunderstorm across the country, right, or kind of across north to south right now, with hail, tornadoes, and everything. So we're trying to not be involved with that. We've been just catching this light drizzle, and hopefully things stay that way. We were in Walmart after they closed, and the employees there were, saying that there was debris balls that were spotted on radar that they think are tornadoes developing. So yeah, that's the status of us right now.
Lots of fun.
But as far as the route, yeah, we're going from here to the Corvette Museum, which is 115 miles. Then from there, I think the next stop might be Nashville. Maybe it's one just north of that. But we're just continuing I-65 all the way down, and then we'll break off eventually to skip down to Atlanta to Orlando. So quite a few more stops still to go. This is our first time taking any electric vehicle on basically any highway that's not I-80. So these are all new chargers to us. So it's been interesting to see new places, new Walmarts checked off the list.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So
the
hopefully
bathrooms in the same location.
I'm looking forward to on the way home. So we're heading to the Corvette Museum now. Hopefully on the way home it'll be daytime when we're there, and we'll actually get to enjoy that place a little more than just how it is in the dark. But now it's time to unplug and hit the road. ID issue of the day is our internet is not working, which means CarPlay is not working, which also means navigation is not working. It still thinks we're at the last charging stop. So the screen here is just rather blank. I have also have no speed limit signs posting for some reason. Don't know why. Side note, yeah, we're down to 6%, 9 miles of estimated range. According to this, it looks like we exit in 5 miles. We have Christina's phone set up for navigation since yeah, that's what's going on. Also some pretty epic lightning ahead of us. I haven't checked the radar yet to see if that's at our charging stop, or hopefully it's a little further down the road so we can have a nice dry charging stop. But I can already hear the rain hitting the windows, so I've spoke too soon. Windy out here. These thunderstorms are absolutely insane. We're here at the National Corvette Museum. Really cool place. Can't wait to see it on the way home. Hopefully it'll be open that time. Yeah, check out some of this lightning going on over here. Crazy. That's ahead of us. That's, I think, as we go down the road. Charger ramping up right now. Let's see what kind of speeds we can get. We plugged in at 3%. True road tripping.
definitely, I think this is the lowest I've ever arrived at a charger. So the guessometer on the car was pretty accurate, so that was nice to see. And right away, the Volkswagen up to full speed, so that's pretty awesome. I think we're just charging to about 50% here, so that until we can make it down the road. So we're going to do some charger hopping. Those who don't know, charger hopping is basically we could just charge here to like maybe 90% and skip the next charger. However, it's faster because these chargers are right off the highway to plug in here, take what we need to get to the next one, and then head down the road to get to that charger. I think also I'm going to check the radar and play a little game with that of figuring when we should try to run down the road versus if we should try to wait out for the storm to kind of pass a little bit. So not only are we trying to outrun tornadoes, we have the electric motor drive unit warning coming on. We have the adaptive cruise control. Actually, cruise control in general will not work. As I mentioned earlier, we have no internet whatsoever in this car. And there we are. So we have 3 messages. There's 1, electric drive motor, please service vehicle. Number 2, travel assist not available. Number 3, dynamic road sign display currently limited. So that's the current status of our trip as we head to Nashville. What a crazy journey thus far.
Oh my gosh.
So we're in Nashville. We just plugged in right now. First, what we did is we locked the car and walked away from it to try to get it to reboot because there's all those warning codes and errors with all the systems. So hopefully that did a proper reboot. Now we're plugging in. It's ramping up. Let's go see what kind of speeds we're getting. As long as it gets good speed here, I think we're gonna go walk over to Kroger, which is down there. That'll give us something to do, kill some time. Initially 34 kilowatts. Hopefully that's going to change. Otherwise, we're gonna be changing chargers really quickly. Oh boy. All right. Well, I gotta check plug share. I didn't do that before we got here. I was so anxious with everything else going on. So let's try changing chargers.
That's more like it.
There we go. Just took, we said change units. Usually when it's at 33 kilowatts or so, 35 kilowatts, it's because the cooling system is malfunctioning. So that's the most of the unit can deliver when that's happening. But over here, charger number 8 is working great. So we're gonna go take that walk to Kroger and we'll be back in a bit. All right, so Kroger and everything was closed. The only thing that was open was a gym, but we're not members there, so
No.
we didn't go. So it's only 53 miles to the next charger. And so we're at 40%. We're just going to go ahead and unplug. We have plenty to get to Manchester, Tennessee. And then there, I think we're going to do a pretty deep charge. It'll give us a chance to get a nap as well. But after Manchester is Chattanooga, and that charger is like 7+ miles like out of the way. So I think even round trip it's like 14 miles out of the way. So it makes more sense that time to charge deep in Manchester and then just push it to northern Atlanta, I think was the next one after that. But we'll touch base then. But now let's unplug and hit the road.
Manchester, Tennessee, charging up now. I think we're gonna do a really deep charge, like 95% or something. We're both gonna take a nap, and then that'll allow us to skip that Chattanooga charger before we head to Marietta, Georgia. Should be our next one. And the nice thing is, if we're driving and we see that efficiency is not where it needs to be, we can always jump off and hit that Chattanooga charger when we get there. So, but until then, I think it's Christina's turn to drive.
Yep.
And I'm gonna get some sleep, and we're getting good speeds over here, full 125 kilowatts, and we plugged in at 3%, I believe.
Oh yeah, 3%.
Oh no, 5%. But yeah, we'll be here for a good like 50 minutes or so till we get a charge, and then we'll be back on the road.
See you later.
We're all charged up. We arrived with 19%. We charged to 58%. Sorry, I didn't film. I was just in a hurry to get to the Starbucks and get the goods. And the charger was across the street, so it kind of was perfect location. We're at a mall that's pretty much closed, but thankfully Target was open. So now we are heading back on the road for another 50 miles or so to Stockbridge, Georgia. So we're just on the north side of Atlanta, so we're gonna head over to the south side. And that's it. Also, we didn't film a little bit of the stretch in the middle because it was just dark out last night. The storms are already gone, so it's kind of just, you know, for lack of a better word, a little bit boring in the middle there, and I don't know how much the camera could have seen. So that was that little stretch from Nashville. Was it Nashville? No, from Manchester to Chattanooga.
It's a new day, so let's get going.
Yep. Porsche driving experience in Atlanta. Pretty cool stuff. We went to the museum, did some light shopping, watched the racetrack a little bit. Hopefully we get to come here someday and take a delivery.
Yes, and then test out the track, but not with our car, their cars.
Yeah. So now our next stop is just a few minutes down the road to Stockbridge, Georgia. Join us in Forsyth, Georgia. We ended up bypassing Stockbridge because we level 2 charged for the 40 minutes that we were at the Porsche Center, and that gave us enough juice. As soon as I got in the car, I thought we were going to Stockbridge, and I looked at the map and I'm like, we have plenty to get here. So we pushed it over here, and we're ramping up now. We arrived with 23%, getting full speed right now. I'm going to go map out how far to the next charger, which I believe is Cordell, Georgia. We're charged up to 52%, so we have enough to get down to Cordell, Georgia. That's only 82 miles away. Still a slight headwind, but the warm weather tells us that we'll definitely get a lot better range out of the pack. So we're going to go ahead and unplug and head off to Cordell.
are here in Cordell. Actually, I should say I dropped Christina off at Zaxby's, so she's going to place an order in a couple minutes. We arrived with 11%. We only have to charge to about 50%, or even actually a little less than that, because we only have another 81-mile stretch to Valdosta. And so that's kind of what we've been doing, the charger hopping today. There's no reason to wait here until we get to 90% to skip Valdosta, because the charger's right off the highway. So it's much, much quicker to just charge to 45 or 50%, cannonball down the road to the next stop, and just keep repeating that all day. Plus, it's kind of nice to get out of the car and enjoy. I'm in 72 degrees right now, so get out of the car for like 10 minutes, walk around, and then do it all over again. I should say 10, 15 minutes, but yeah. Like I said, we arrived with 11%. We are already up to 31% in 8 minutes, just flying at full peak speed. So pretty much once it starts to taper down, right around 40 or 45%, I'll go ahead and unplug, run over to Zaxby's to go eat lunch with Christina real quick, and then we'll be off to Valdosta. The only downside I'll say of this trip so far is just getting sick of all these Walmarts that we've had to be at. Literally, the food options have been less than ideal. It's just been Subways at Walmarts all day. And there hasn't even been like much other food options in the parking lot of Walmart. So we eventually just kind of gave up and said, I'm dropping you off at Zaxby's and I'll go do my charge, and then we'll be back. These are those new Signet units that I'm a big fan of. I just think they're really nice units, very quiet, you know, compared to the old like ABBs and stuff, just make a ton of noise. Volkswagen's starting to get pretty dirty. I don't know if you can see it in here, but it just got that kind of Georgia dust all over it from that rainstorm. Especially you can see it on the back window. So our remaining stops for the day, I believe, are next is Valdosta. Then we have Gainesville, Florida. We want to skip Lake City because that's like way off the highway. So we'll try to charge a little deeper in Gainesville. And then I think from Gainesville we can make it. I'll have to double check, but pretty sure it's really just 2 charging stops and then we'll be in Disney World. As much as I was saying these are brand new units, it's kind of interesting to see that the screens are already like delaminating or whatever is going on here. I'm not sure what that is, but yep, we're at 48%. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the charge, and we have enough to make it to the next one. So we'll go eat lunch, and then we'll be off to Valdosta, which is about 82 miles, I believe.
Welcome back.
So we just went into the Wally World, bought a loofah, and now we're ready to go. Next stop is Gainesville. We plugged in here, got 125 kilowatts right away. We arrived with 4%, so pretty rock solid charging session considering this is like those really old units that just keep on ticking. I will push to return. It'll spend an hour figuring it out. Hey, there we go. And now we can stop and hit the road.
stop of the drive in Gainesville, Florida. Chargers 2 and 4 we could not initiate, they were broken, but we got charger 1 going here, full 125 kilowatts right now. We pulled in at 7%, so we're just happy it's running, and I think we're going to charge about 80% because we want to have a little bit left over when we get to Disney World, because if we charge there, it's like 35 cents a kilowatt hour, whereas here it's free. So, and we're not really in a huge hurry right now, so we're going to go buy some water and kind of walk around Target for a little bit. All right, we got some grocery shopping done. We're charged up to 84%, which is enough to get to our hotel for the night, which is just outside of Disney World. So we're gonna go ahead and unplug, and we'll see how far it is. I don't remember the exact time. Yeah, so just 123 miles to get to our destination tonight. You know, 80% is plenty, and that way we'll have enough to get to the park tomorrow, and there's plenty of level 2 chargers at the park. So it's starting to storm, and clearly episode 1 should have ended a while ago, so that's a wrap. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and big thanks to Cheryl and Joey for joining us for our Disney adventure. And stay tuned for episode 2.
Cheers, see you later.